Hi everyone, good evening. This is Perspectives, the Thought Leader Initiative by Kivani. Thank you for joining us. Today we'll be talking about digitalization in the context of laboratories. Laboratory performance directly affects the quality of finished product and the operating cost. Several factors can adversely affect the performance, and one critical but often ignored aspect is the infrastructure and the environmental conditions. Digitalization and the Internet of Things are transforming industries and delivering operational improvements in facilities across those industries and the world. Insights from the infrastructure helps bridge the gap between operational efficiency, occupant experience, and sustainable infrastructure. Whether it's an existing or a new infrastructure, an entire research facility or a laboratory, a greenfield or a brownfield projects, insights can drive efficiencies for anyone and everyone. To help us understand how digital technologies can help us with sustainable laboratories, we have Sridhar Shenoy with us today. Sridhar is an energy management specialist and a certified energy manager from Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Currently, Sridhar is working as general manager in Schneider Electric Energy and Sustainability Services. Prior to Schneider, Sridhar held positions in Conserve System, App Lab, and HiTem in industrial automation and energy management solutions. Sridhar has also executed over 100 energy management and sustainability projects for customers in India and across the globe. Before I turn the stage to Sridhar, just a little housekeeping. Please stay on mute and don't raise your hands during the presentation. If you have any questions in your mind that come across while the presentation is on, you will see a small Q&A box in your Zoom control panel. And mind the difference, there is a chat window and a Q&A window. So your questions, please post into the Q&A window. After the presentation is over, I will bring up the questions that have been posted and we will put it to Sridhar for his views. Now let's turn our attention to Sridhar for sustainable laboratories. Sridhar, thank you so much for joining, and it's a great pleasure to have you with us today. Without further ado, I'll get you started with how we can talk about and achieve sustainability in laboratories. All yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vijay. Yes, yeah, welcome all. Yeah, so my name is Sridhar Shenoy. I am a part of Schneider Electric System. Thanks for joining this session. And so today's session, I would like to really cover up on the our EcoStruxure platform, which is basically a IoT platform or Industry 4.0 platform, which is applicable for the life science. Okay, and here we are talking of digitization, how digitization can bring a value to the laboratories or maybe life science or organizations, and which can meet your sustainability goals. Okay, but ideally the main objective is to really make the laboratories safe, secure, and green, so that there is a business continuity and there is a great branding image happening to the respective laboratories or your organization. So that's how the value we're trying to bring in this particular seminar or webinar we're planning to cover up here. So if you see the challenges, what are the few challenges normally a laboratories facilities have? The first challenges is to maintain the total environmental management. That means there will be a lot of environmental requirements like your cooling, energy or ventilation systems, lighting, your comforts, you are maintaining the humidity level or maybe temperature level. Yes, so there will be a lot of frequent challenges or breakdowns, or there will be a lot of compliance related challenges we are going to address here. So we're going to see how we can really mitigate these challenges. So the first challenges we will normally have in terms of laboratory facilities. Second, in terms of power safety and reliability, there could be a possibility of blackout happening, or maybe your equipments, test benches or equipments can fail or trip or create some troubles for your equipments. So we are going to see how we can really prevent in terms of the solution in terms of power safety and reliability point of view. And thirdly, how to keep your lab secure or safe in terms of like various theft or cyber security point of view. Also we are trying to cover up in this particular topic. Okay, and getting the data. So most of the data presently are in siloed type of data management. That means the data are available in Excel formats or maybe in the different systems, or they're not able to bring the meaningful decisions, or maybe KPIs. You are not able to bring the certain performance KPIs to the particular analytics point of view. So we're trying to see how to bring the data to centralized management and see that we will bring the value to the organization. And lastly, in terms of sustainability goals, so definitely the most of the laboratories have a sustainability targets or goals coming from your global organization, like reducing carbon emission or maybe running the sustainability goals with certain criteria to reach the milestone of maybe 2030. So there are a lot of sustainability goals which can be really requirements of the various organizations to ensure that we meet the laboratory related sustainability targets or as well as compliance standards in the coming days. So these are the few challenges normally laboratories face. We are going to address these issues, how we can really meet and mitigate the requirements of these various challenges. So coming back to the sustainability or sustainable development goals. Okay, so if you see most of the laboratories, if you go to their sustainability goals or maybe your websites, we can see that yes, there are a lot of focus on the environment, communities, or maybe water management or waste management. Yes, we are trying to see. So if you see the standard, or what you call sustainable development goals for the sustainability as per defined by United Nations, there are 17 goals which normally most of the industries follow. Okay, I'll put in a little bit zoom here. So we can see here that there should be like poverty related, there should be hunger related, there should be health, well-beings, environment. You can see how the digitization or infrastructure related initiatives. Yes, so these are very important initiatives which are required to ensure that yes, my facility is like a sustainable for many years and meet the sustainability standards. Okay, so if you see from the how we can Kiwani and Schneider can partner together. So these are the, if you see right side, you can see these are the various goals or standards which can really help us in terms of work environment, like decent work, economic growth. We can really help as a partner. We can see how we can improve the digitization part, like innovation we can bring in terms of environmental compliance or investment plans for a greenfield as well as brownfield projects. We can bring a value in terms of digitization. Similarly, you can see in terms of carbon disclosure programs, CDP programs, to achieve the science-based targets. Okay, SBT targets, carbon neutrality. So again, this is one of the initiatives most of the customers are driving from the sustainability point of view. There are other initiatives like most of the volumes, what are the sold products which want to categorize and enhance in terms of traceability or in terms of transparency. We want to see that improve. So there are many initiatives which can come across the solution. So today's topic, what I'm focusing mainly on the digitization part, which is colored in the blue color. So you can see how we can really digitize, innovate, and help the most of the companies to meet the compliance standards, as well as we're trying to see how to improve your environmental criteria. So if you see from the solution point of view, yes, we are trying to see how to improve the comfort, regulatory compliance, GMP standards, or energy digitization. Also similarly for energy point of view, for environmental monitoring, yes, wages, that means water, air, gas, electricity, steam. So these are the typically 5 forms of energy. Most of the industries will be required for your various processes, or maybe for testing, or maybe for your process requirements. So yes, we can really see how we can really digitize and how we can help the environment in terms of carbon reduction, like scope 1 and 2, as well as track the climate change and help the our in future can become sustainable and safe in coming days. So these are the 2 topics I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail as we go into this particular session. Okay, and if you see how the laboratories are classified. Okay, so if you see, there are 4 categories presently categorized, like based on level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Again, you can see the different type of laboratories, like starting from basic teaching to like dangerous pathogen units. You can see how different type of classifications, and this calls for various safety equipments, very important in terms of your biological safety cabinets. We need to maintain certain standards, certain criteria, safety concerns. So again, depending on type of your example, like if you see this, these are the various diseases which can really need certain standards to really validate or testing point of view or meeting the laboratories requirement. So yes, so these are the 4 categories of labs presently normally available in the particularly the laboratory ranges. So if you see what are the laboratory scientific research in terms of conditions, like how it should be maintained. So first thing is we should see that the people are safe, productive working environment should be met. That means The people who are working in the laboratory should have comfort in terms of safety point of view, very, very important, because unless then, if without people, yes, nothing, we cannot have the proper testing, or labs cannot work properly. Secondly, this should have continuous 24 hours constant operating running. That means it doesn't have any downtime. There should not be any frequent failures of your equipments, or there should be continued. There should not be like a disruption in your business, normal routine business happening. So we need to see that this is maintained. Okay. Certainly, next, third is the human errors. So we need to see how we can digitize or automate most of our processes so that we can eliminate most of the human errors. Okay, like manual reporting or intervention, or like human errors happens frequently, which can be eliminated. Finally, you should see that data, whatever you have recorded, it should be like cyber secure, or they should not have any IP theft or any issues later with cyber security. We are going to, so that the solution, whatever we give, should have like a cyber secure compliance point of view. Then again, finally, the carbon emission is one of the criteria. If you see the globally, you can see many people are talking of carbon emission reduction, how to optimize your energy wastages and water wastages. So these are the 4 things or 5 things. And normally, yes, laboratories of level 1 and 2 will be really looking forward. And again, dynamic space changes also will be flexibility based on your type of projects, type of your testing. There will be a lot of frequent changes of space needs. Also, flexi labs are very, very operational nowadays. So again, we need to meet the quickly standards in the shortest time of period. Yes, we should be able to help the respective laboratories to have a flexi labs and flexibility in changing the space needs. Okay, now coming back to the level 3, which is just with your high end, especially used for your dangerous pathogen kind of testing labs, where again you need similar to BSL 1 and 2 standards required, minimum required. In addition to that, yes, we need to see that it requires a preventing viruses outbreak. That means it should be like biosecure, or like a bio bubble kind of thing. It should be a secure lab within the required system. Then 100% redundancy is very, very important. That means if something fails, some equipment fails, or some environmental related equipment fails, immediately you should have like redundancy backup. For example, if there is a failure in your HVAC system, for example, there your humidity settings or your temperature setting goes for a task. So we need to see that, yes, quickly there should be a standby solution or redundant system, so that you don't have any downtime, or your processor doesn't affect, or there is a continuity in your business as usual. Then managing critical alarms. So alarms are very, very important. Sometimes there could be a fault happens, and people need to address these faults within the shortest time. And these alarms can come from multiple systems. It can come from your air conditioning system. It can come HVAC, lighting, or it can be coming from your process equipment, where is a critical alarms happening. Maybe your main transformers, which gives the power to your complete laboratories, also can create give some alarms, which are very, very important. So we need to see that we capture these alarms, address this in the right time or right way to the right people, and see that it gets mitigated quickly in the shortest period of time. Finally, the disposable and treatment with contaminated waste management. So we need to really track how much wastes are coming, what are the different categories of waste. Again, we need to track these waste management, very, very important. Some could be hazardous waste, some could be non-hazardous waste. So there are different categories, different levels. We need to really capture that, and we see that, yes, which is the maximum wastage happening. We need to see how to mitigate or how to optimize the wastages happening from certain areas. So these are the key requirements, or what you call in terms of health and safety point of view. Yes, so these are the few important criteria which we are going to address here. How to really manage the risk dealing with this highly dangerous pathogen for lab 3 and 4. Okay, so and finally, yes, so how to make this particular labs highly safe, secure, and green. That's the main objective of this particular program or presentation or webinar. So first thing is, yes, we need to see that we ensure the biosecurity. That means we need to see the robust solution with a working condition or environment which meets the as per the standards like 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. Yes, we need to see that we meet these standards. Very, very important. So this is the first step we are trying to see from the safety point of view. Secondly, we are trying to see how to improve the reliability. That means there should not be any frequent business discontinuity should not happen. There should not be any disruption in terms of data security or cyber security. Yes, we should have the same solution which meets to improve the reliability point of view. Okay. Finally, yes, we can see that how to improve the efficiency. That means productivity of the employees or people who are working in the laboratories, improve the efficiency from the energy efficiency point of view, improve the safety point of view, to see how we can collaborate further for a new innovation or new products or maybe new testing which can happen in that particular lab. So we can really see that how to improve the efficiency of this complete overall productivity. And finally, we should see that whatever we do, we should protect the environment. So which is very, very important. You should manage the energy the right way. We should not see that excess energies are used. We see wherever the opportunity, we should be able to meet the optimize. We should see that our communities are very secure and safe. And finally, we should be able to meet the sustainability goals. So these are the 4 value propositions which normally comes out as a part of EcoStructure solution from the Snyder and Kiwani, which can meet most of the requirements of your labs in terms of value proposition of safe, secure, and green labs in coming days. So coming back to the little bit into detail, how we can ensure the biosecurity. So normally we need to have a robust design and the procedures for there a lot of procedures will be there. So we need to see first how to control the environment related accessibility. The first thing is we need to have that maintaining the pressure or your pressure regime is very, very important. That means your operating and cleaning procedures in terms of your maybe air changes or maybe in terms of your humidity level or maybe your temperature minimum requirement. Yes, these are very, very important to maintain in terms of environmental point of view. Secondly, how to reduce your mean time between the failures, for especially for safety performance. Especially most of the labs are like SIL certified systems will be there. So they would like to see how to reduce the mean time between the failures for the safety performance point of view. So this also is very, very important to track and see that we reduce your the systems doesn't fail very frequently and your mean time of production failure is very, very low. Then finally, third party solutions like cabinets and all. So again, there will be a lot of different parameter working environmental parameters or settings will be there. We need to see that yes, we meet these environmental requirements for third party specialized systems where the standards could be as maybe temperature can be very low. Also maybe your humidity level also can be very, very low, or certain ranges can go like beyond threshold level. So we need to see that this meets the certain third party specialized systems. Also we meet the safety standards for the different cabinets. Then again, there will be a lot of environmental biosecurity required for your natural habitation for animals. Okay, so definitely your kinetic labs will come in the picture here. So again, there will be a lot of standards required for the kinetic labs, pathogen labs for definitely. So we have to meet the standards. We need to see that whatever the environmental conditions or standards defined, we need to be able to maintain in terms of all the environmental standards required with a close monitoring of the system as well as controls mechanism. That means the data or the parameters need to be monitored as well as there should be control mechanism or with a closed loop circuit mechanism, so that there is no variation happens in terms of environmental monitoring very frequently. And finally, security point of view, yes, biosecurity, there'll be a lot of security, individual access, people, frequent visitors need to be monitored. So again, this can be completely digitized as a part of the biosecurity point of view. So this is the minimum criteria. We're trying to see that, yes, this can be completely need to have digitized in terms of digitization so that we can meet your control environmental and accessibility in a safe environment. So to meet your biosecurity point of view. Next, in terms of reliability, yes, we need to see there are a lot of equipments will be there in the facility. Again, we need to see that this equipment doesn't fail and doesn't have your downtime, frequent downtime doesn't happen, and also data availability is very, very important. So first thing we are trying to see that your doesn't have a power burnout or blackout happening, for especially like incubators or freezers, which are all highly energy consuming with electrical power consumption happening. So we need to see that these equipments works very smoothly and doesn't have any blackout. And also power fluctuation and harmonic mitigation is very, very important. Means if there is high harmonics level as per IEEE standards, if the value exceeds more than maybe 10% of current harmonic in the electrical network, okay, it can create a blackout, it can create your cable heating, it can create tripping of certain breakers, which can create your downtime of your testing procedures. So your test cycles can fail and it can prevent. Similarly, power fluctuation can happen. It can create because of there will be more and more reactive loads will be used in the labs. It can create a lot of power fluctuation, or it can create harmonics also. So, and power fluctuation can happen. It can come inside the your laboratories. It can create the transient, or a disturbance can create from the transient can be from within the your laboratories, or it can come from your neighboring facility or neighboring labs or neighboring factory which is nearby to your laboratories. It can create a lot of problems in terms of power fluctuation. So we need to really see that we monitor these parameters very closely, find the mitigation solution so that you don't have any reduced equipment failures. Then finally, you need to have a real-time data analytics to find the root cause analysis. That means whenever there is an event happens, suddenly there's a power fail happens, just normally people run around to see that which breaker is tripped and they restore the breaker. So, but finally, if it happening frequently, maybe one time, two times, three times, we need to know why this happening. So there is a root cause analysis has to be taken very, very important, so that your testing procedure doesn't get affected because of the power failures and power events. So we need to have real-time data analytics, which can really help you to do root cause analysis. And finally, yes, system should have redundant, 100% redundant, especially for your BSL labs 3 and 4. We discussed that 100% redundancy is very, very important. At the same time, it should be a cost-effective solution, so that you don't have excess cost budgets or related infrastructure related investment related issues. So we need to see that this 100% redundancy is very, very important. So these are the main criteria for reliability point of view, which we are trying to address here with various solutions in coming slides. Yeah. Then coming back to efficiency, yes, we need to see how to boost the productivity of the people as well as equipments which are there in your laboratories, as well as we should see that these equipments operate in highly with energy efficient. Okay, it should work in a smooth safety and faster collaboration with various performances. So definitely we need to have a single window to see that performance. So if you see the person standing in the tab here, you can see that he's able to visualize the problem occurring in the plant or in the particular equipment. He's able to see that yes, there's a failure occurred in this particular equipment or test bench. He's able to simulate the problem, how this can be mitigated, what could be the problem. So there's something called um, uh, uh, various augmented reality. Yes, so these are the various augmented reality techniques or tools are available, which can really predict or reduce your downtime. So like, for example, if there is a failure occurred in that particular test bench, there could be various, maybe the equipment related, power related equipment parameters is affected. So we need to know exactly which parameter is affected. Is it because of the frequency settings, or maybe because of the voltage parameter, or it can be any other electrical parameter. Yes, we should be able to see from diagnose without touching the equipment, and we should be able to simulate the augmented or virtual reality should be able to produce, which can help you to reduce your mean time of failures can be mitigated or reduced accordingly, so that people feel comfortable in terms of improving the efficiency, and your equipments are uptime is very, very high, and we're trying to address the solution accordingly. Also, if there is a failure, yes, we need to have a digitally the standing operating procedure. For example, if the equipment fails, okay, people normally run around for the finding the manual of this particular equipment, how to really mitigate, what are the maintenance procedures. So now the world has moved from manual to the digital mode, so that digitally your standing operating procedures for the workflow management is already configured, so that moment the system fails, automatically work, or what you call the SOPs can be digitized, so that alerts can go to the respective person who can really do the mitigation work, or the maintenance activities can be done in the shortest time. So he knows exactly which equipment can fail and what time the equipment has failed, what is the root cause analysis, how the mitigation has to be done. Everything is digitally programmed, so that the digital workforce becomes empowered, and they can get the solution fixed quickly, so that your uptime is always very high in terms of efficiency point of view. And also we can see that wherever the automation can happen, for example, like lighting controls, for example, and just a simple example. So yes, lighting controls can be automated, and we can see that certain processes can be automated, especially like dangerous samples where people cannot go inside the certain rooms. So we can see that with the automated like robot kind of systems can be made, and see that the system can do the certain activities as per the pre-programmed, and automation can bring the value or bring the deliverables according to the safety norms of their particular samples. So this can be automation also a part of the solution, which can really bring the value in terms of so in Schneider we have a lot of industrial automation solutions which really we can digitize or automate in coming days, and see that we can automate certain processes without any human interventions or human involvement. Certain dangerous or laboratories or dangerous samples can be handled accordingly. Okay, and again we can see that this automated can happen through a cloud-based collaborative platform. That means the data availability in the cloud, which can really see that data is transparently shared across how the automation is been done, what are the hazards, what are the risk involved. So it's available in the cloud-based platform, which can really help us to really improve the efficiency of the overall laboratories in coming days. Then next point we discuss is on protecting the environment. Yes, so we need to manage the energy and the lab effluents in communities as well as people who are working. It should be like people should have a good environment to work and also meet the sustainability goals. So normally we get involved in the active energy management approach, where the passive systems like we can use certain heat and lighting source from the nature. So we can use a lot of daylight kind of solutions can be used, or which can help you really get natural light wherever possible through daylight mechanism without affecting your environmental related effect issues. So there are a lot of solutions are available. Finally, yes, we need to see that how to optimize your energy usages also. So we can see that certain lab equipments need not run idle running conditions, or it can need not run in the your partial load condition, which can really consume excess power and energy consumption. And also we should be able to forecast your energy consumption based on your certain variables or planning or maybe procedures, or we can really do some energy forecasting and see that you can optimize your energy usage real time basis. So again, if we see from the carbon environmental point of view, the carbon decarbonization is very, very important. So we can see that if you see in the maybe in the you can see in the social media or maybe in the newspapers, you can see that the world is focusing towards how to do decarbonization. So we are really moving from fossil fuel to the your renewables. So wherever possible, maximum we're trying to see that we use renewables from solar or maybe wind energies as a part of the requirement. So we can see that yes, we can study the where the power is being used or fed from the various utilities or from the various energy sources to the laboratories. We can really see that yes, how to make it sustainable by moving from fossil fuel to the renewables, and we can really see that yes, we can decarbonize and see that we protect our environment wherever possible based on the geographic locations. Then finally, yes, it should improve your brand image. Definitely reducing carbon emission is one of the big talking point in the corporate world, where the sustainability is one of the key, where the carbon reduction, carbon credits are available. So yes, there's a lot of programs going in terms of carbon disclosure programs, where all the companies or most of companies are voluntarily declaring that yes, I'm going to reduce the carbon emission maybe by 20%, 30%, 50%. So this kind of sustainability goals, this platform will be very, very useful in terms of mitigating and reducing the carbon emission. Finally, meeting the sustainability KPIs, like in terms of reducing your waste, in terms of water consumption, in terms of carbon, energy reduction. Also, there are a lot of sustainability goals which can really meet the customers or maybe users requirement. So we can really digitize all these KPIs, can be bring in a dashboard, in a centralized dashboard, and meet the customers requirement. Okay, so if you see in a very high level, what are the four verticals we are trying here? So we are trying to see that we ensure your biosecurity is very, very important. That means we develop a robust design solution in terms of biosafe working condition. Secondly, we are trying to see how to improve your reliability. That means there is a business continuity, always uptime. There is no issues, downtime happening, frequent tripping or failures happening in your labs. We're trying to see how to improve the efficiency of the people, or how to improve the collaboration is very, very important in terms of energy savings also. Similarly, in terms of protecting environments, yes, we discussed on carbon emission reduction and optimizing energy. So these are the four areas or four value propositions we are trying to see how to improve in coming days. So coming to the how the solution improving, yes, we can involve in your design engineering. That means for a greenfield project, yes, we can involve in the early stages of your design. We can design the solution which is required in line with your biosecurity. We understand your environmental requirements, your various compliance standards required by your various authorities. We can really understand that and design the solution accordingly. Similarly, building management system is one of the things where normally popularly used for usage of optimization of HVAC. Complete HVAC operation is being done in terms of building management system as well. HVAC plus lighting plus comfort related has been met through BMS. Environmental monitoring, yes, there are a lot of environmental standards like 21 CFR and other standards which is required in terms of GMP standards. Again, this can be met through environmental monitoring system. Is nothing but basically BMS plus additional add-on to the existing BMS modules. Then security and compliances is very, very important. Security, we should know people in terms of who are the visitors, what time they enter the respective labs. We need to see how to protect in terms of CCTV cameras. All those things are part of surveillance, are very, very important. Then predictive management. So we should really predict if any failure happens. There should be some smart alerts, and artificial intelligence kind of a platform should be built in the feature. Yes, so those things should be available so that before failure of any equipment, for example, like HVAC, the filters need to be cleaned very frequently by the respective maintenance team. For example, if the filter choking happens, the comfort goes down. At the same time, other side, you can see energy consumption increases. So these systems are available in the market that, yes, we can do predictive failure, that your filter is getting choked and it will start choking last 5 days, and the filter, the levels are increased, the pressure drop is increased, and we can really see that we can predict the comfort coming in days, and accordingly we can take the corrective actions. So yes, we can see that we can meet through this particular 4-5 solutions in terms of ensuring the biosecurity point of view. Then how to improve the reliability? Yes, so improve reliability is power availability. That means there should not be any frequent failures of your power availability. Should be always up and running. There should not be frequent tripping or power fluctuations, or maybe your breaker can settings can go wrong. Sometimes there could be incidents related to power can eliminate. So we are going to see that, yes, how to improve the reliability point of view. Similarly, power quality point of view, yes, we can see how in terms of harmonics, you can see how the transients are coming, how is the sag swell happening. We can see if there any flickering happening in your facility, yes, so that your equipment doesn't fail, so that equipments are running smoothly, and your performance and your results after the testing comes very smooth and accurate results come, so that you don't have any issues. Asset performances, so all the assets, or mainly electrical assets I'm talking here, like your maybe transformers or maybe DG sets, or maybe your lab equipments, your lighting equipments, all these equipment assets, UPSs, all these assets we need to really monitor the performance. So for example, like a UPS, if it's not monitored with the battery backups, we assume that when power fails, yes, UPS will protect, but sometimes your batteries doesn't work properly, not maintained properly, it can create trips and doesn't work on time. So we can need to see that, yes, your UPSs are monitored regular basis. We need to know the health of the batteries, we know what is the charging and discharging cycle of the batteries, we need to really monitor. So yes, asset performance is very, very important. Cyber security, yes, whatever the solutions, whatever you install in the facility, yes, which have various cyber security levels. Again, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels are there, with from the low risk to high risk. So we need to see certain standards of IEC standards. There are IEC standards for cyber security. We need to comply and we need to meet the requirements, so that there is no, in terms data security point of view, we are trying to see that there's a high in terms of reliability, we're trying to improve with the cyber security standards. Then lastly, augmented and virtual reality, yes, where we can really simulate a maintenance or a failure happened in your equipment. So we are trying to see that in a simulated way, without touching the equipments, without knowingly, or maybe with limited knowledge. We are trying to see that what could be the reason for the failure of this particular equipment, and at the same time, that in the virtual reality can help us to know remotely the people or respective OEMs can support you OEM remotely, so that without visiting your laboratories, without entering your labs, they can really support you how to troubleshoot and fix the issues and bring your equipment back in operation. So that's how the new evolution happened in the augmented and virtual reality, which can be addressed, and it can really help you to improve the reliability in coming days. Then next is the energy, increasing the efficiency. Yes, we are trying to boost the productivity and foster collaboration. Yes, so through power management, yes, we can see that we can really improve your efficiency of your power related equipment. Similarly, alarm management, workflow and management. Yes, we can see that how to improve the workflow, especially in the COVID situation. We've seen that workflow as well as your people management, we can really manage in terms of monitor the occupancy levels. Similarly, data management in terms of data collection, data compiling and digitizing this data, we can really see that it will help to improve the efficiency of the equipment. And finally, automation and controls. So wherever the possible, we can really see that we can automate the process and see that the improve the efficiency. For example, like lighting controls could be a good option, where the people are not working in the laboratories. The lighting controls can sense the people movement, and accordingly lights can be partially dimmed, or maybe you can see that delamping can be done accordingly to the requirement of lux level or standards, whatever defined in your standards required for the particular lab. Yes, so there are a lot of automation can be implemented in the various to improve the efficiency of the each labs. Next is the protecting environment. Yes, this is also one of the key requirement from the sustainability point of view, or as a social responsibility for us. So we need to see how to make the energy sustainability dashboards digital, so that we know exactly how much is energy consumption, in terms of carbon emission, in terms of waste management, in terms of water consumption. Yes, all those things can be really helpful. Similarly, renewable energy. Yes, how to make the renewable energy sourcing procurement can be done, so that we can have the move from fossil fuel to renewable in coming days more and more. Similarly, waste management and energy optimization, yes, all these things leads to your protecting the environment. So this is how we can bring the value to the labs by jointly working, like with Kivani and Schneider can work together and meet the all the labs requirement as a one team, and which can meet most of the requirements in terms of value proposition. Okay, so finally, how we do these kind of solutions. So I'll go to EcoStruxure. This is how the Schneider we do work. We collaborate. How these are the assets you can see here. These are the assets typically in the labs you can see here. So there'll be transformers, will be there. There'll be DJ sets as a backup when the power fails happens. So there'll be chillers. There'll be HUs. Sometimes the cooling towers will be there for the chillers for maintain the temperatures. Lab equipments will be there. You can see a lot of lighting, or offices, conference rooms will be available. So these are the typical assets normally in the labs will be there. So again, in Schneider point of view, we have a lot of connected products based on the different applications, different requirements. We have like thousands of products in our product range. From here, we take it the edge data to edge layer, edge computing layer, where the data will be available in the centralized management system. Okay, again, we have different platform for building management. We have solution, energy management. We have separate solution, asset management, or energy management is controls. We have separate platform. Similarly, for sustainability, we have different platforms as advisory. And similarly, for electrical distribution problem related, yes, we have advisory services where we can really help you to in terms of mitigating the solution. So this is how the Schneider we work as a solution provider through our EcoStruxure solution. And we have different type of edge layers and analytics. We have different solutions for different applications. We have product ranges. So if you see the first, if you take example, typically for a labs point of view, yes, the EcoStruxure building operation or BMS, popularly called, which is very, very useful for you to meeting the compliance standards. So definitely you can see 21 CFR or maybe equivalent to the regulatory environmental related. Yes, you need to have electronic signatures are required. You need to see the data stored for long term, and similarly you should be what you call environmental architecture should be available, segregated and integrated separately. And finally, you should be able to optimize your energy as well as operational efficiency. And finally, you should be able to meet the standards requirement for the best in class. So, yes, so this platform can really bring in terms of complete HVAC management, completely for air chillers, your AHUs, pumps, operation, power, every effluent treatment plants, everything can be really managed. And you can meet your standards at the same time, your various environmental temperature, humidity levels, air changes, pressure requirements, everything can be monitored, your valve operations to meet certain requirements of airflow, and everything is possible through this management. So yes, this will be one of the good platform which you can really plan for a brownfield projects as well as a greenfield projects to meet the ensure the biosecurity requirement. Okay, secondly is the building advisor. Okay, EcoStruxure building. So now what happened, BMS system or EcoStruxure building operation has been installed. Now what happened, the facility managers will be busy with their normal busy routine with their other activities. So here what happens, the building advisor is analytical layer where we can bring the value. That means through the bureau service, there are experts available who are sitting and supporting for various other customers who in the similar domain experience. So they know exactly which are the HVAC operations are happening, how we can really optimize, which are the HVAC have a problems related with comfort, which are the problem with energy, which are the environment related with other maintenance activities. Yes, problems in the maintenance. So we can really capture this data and we can keep talking to the facility manager, guide them. Yes, there are problems happening in this particular lab number 1, lab number 2, lab number 3. So your HVAC number or HU number 6 or 4 has some problems. So before the problem occurs, yes, the bureau team can really become a what you call extended arm to your facility managers, so that we can mitigate the problems and ensuring that we work like an advisor as a part of the source tool, and we can meet the most of the environmental related requirements can be met as a part of this particular service. So these are the features available. So you can see here a lot of dashboards are, you can see dashboards are available. We can see that which are the conditions, which date the maintenance has been done. So these are various tools available in this particular advisory service. Okay, then next is security expert. Yes, this is another offer which can be useful for your interpreting, protecting the personal equipments, data, compressive, the door lock, biometric security. These are the various security related features, CCTV camera, visitor management. All this can be integrated to one single platform, so that we can ensure that your facility is completely secure. We can track the historically who are the any security related issues happened. Yes, we can diagnose quickly so that we can prevent any security related issues can be addressed. So again, this is a very, very important point required for the ensuring your biosecurity requirement, both for greenfield as well as brownfield projects we can support. And then next is the environmental in terms of ecostructure power monitoring, which is useful for your reliability point of view. Yes, so here we are talking of electrical power distribution, or especially for power quality as well as your electrical critical equipment facilities. So yes, we are trying to see here the labs are protected in terms of safety, available and efficient and secure. That means these breakers or electrical equipment distribution is being digitally connected to the software platform. We can get the complete settings of these particular breakers. For example, these breakers are running in a standalone in a different electrical distribution or various distribution panels. We can get this data into through IP backbone and bring the data into centralized platform. And this can help you to know that yes, this breaker has a problem. This is a settings. This is a power event happened. These are the sequence of breaker tripping happened, failure happened. So this can be really tracked. Similarly, power quality side, if there are any harmonics issues or when there's a transient happens, we can really capture that this event happened at so and so time. This is a voltage fluctuation happened or maybe transient happened. So this can capture and mitigate your power quality as well as your critical facility equipment. We can track it very easily. So this is mainly for electrical distribution point of view in terms of improving the reliability. So one of the example I just pulled here just for interesting view was the power quality performance here. So if you see here the graph, I'll just put this zoom in here. You can see here the voltage fluctuation is 100%. Like the typically voltage is 415 normally for a three phase. So when the voltage exceeds maybe 500 volts, it happens 500 volts can come up anytime in the three phase in the transformers, or maybe if it's 11 kV, it can go maybe 12 kV or 13 kV also sometime. But if this event happens in a time scale of maybe microseconds or maybe nanoseconds, it's fine. There is no major issues or maybe there is no major risk in terms of business discontinuity, or it doesn't create any irreversible damage to the equipment. But if it happens in a few milliseconds, if this voltage exceeds maybe 120% or maybe 150%, it can trip your equipment and fail your certain test benches or test labs can really fail. Your HVAC can fail. Your HUs can fail. So it can create a lot of problems in terms of reliability, and it can create your business discontinuity or whatever the testing you have done, it can stop the testing procedure. So we need to see that yes, we monitor this harmonics, very, very important, or especially not harmonics, voltage fluctuations. We need to monitor very closely and see that the voltage level doesn't exceed. So for example, here if you see in this particular graph, or sorry, the voltage has exceeded to 148% voltage. That means the typically 415 volts, it has gone to 148 times. That means 48 times is increased. Maybe 600 plus volts has happened. It's called over voltage transient, we call it. And it happened in a few microseconds, 0.004 seconds, 4868 seconds happened. Similarly, under voltage happened. It has gone to 15% down. For 415, it has gone to maybe 350 or 360 volts to happen here. You can see here under voltage events. So we need to know this, how safe is your in terms of power reliability, that this kind of events happen. If there is happening frequently, yes, we need to have some mitigation solution we can explore and see that we can fix certain issues can be done smoothly. Then another is the test benches. You may have a lot of test benches across your labs for testing and various facilities. So again, there are smallest energy sensors are available. I'll just take 2 minutes here to explain. So if you see, if there are small test benches which doesn't consume much energy, yes, we can. This is a power tag energy sensor, the smallest energy sensor available in the world now as of today. And you can see this is a power meter or energy meter which give the power data directly to this particular gateway, and it goes to the centralized software. So this can help this. You can see this is how the meter looks like. It works on the Zigbee or wireless communication. It sits just below the MCB and gives the whatever the kilowatt consumption happens. So this is very, very useful for your test benches, especially in the laboratories. You may have your partners or maybe your vendors are working in your labs. We can really see that how much the usage happening, when it's used, how much hours they're operated. All those things can be known from these particular test bench solutions. Okay, and finally the sustainability dashboards. Yes, we spoke about sustainability. Yes, we can really see the sustainability of if you have multiple labs in a different part of the country or globally. Yes, we can really integrate all the labs to one single platform. We can bring all the data to one single platform. That central team can really monitor these dashboards. They know exactly what is the problem is going to happen tomorrow. That means we can predict certain problems occurrence in the HVAC side or environmental side, or maybe certain sustainability dashboard in terms of carbon emission or energy performance or water management or waste management happening. Yes, we can really monitor that in the system, and we should be able to get the reporting done. Yeah, I'll go a little fast here. Yeah, almost in time. So next is the wages management. Like we should be able to monitor your water, air, gas, electricity, steam. Yes, is a part of the water energy management. We should be able to monitor, which can help you in terms of increasing efficiency. So again, the cost is, you can get not only environmental or energy efficiency benefit here. You can get some cost benefits here when you do optimization in terms of waste, water, air, gas, and steam usage if it's happening in your labs. Then renewable procurement, yes, we spoke about how to migrate from fossil fuel to renewables. Again, we can see that in terms of different type of sources like solar, it can be wind energy, or it can be your utility power consumption. You can really monitor, see that, yes, how to optimize, how we can migrate. We can do a step-by-step action plan and a strategy, and you can do the migration can be done. Then similarly, carbon emission, yes, carbon emission can happen from the different sources. We should know from the source, like can be fossil fuel, again, what type of fossil fuel we can source. Similarly, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, yes, these are different type of scopes available to really monitor. And pollutants, who are the pollutants creating the more carbon emission? Again, this can be tracked in terms system. And finally, yes, we can see energy advisory services can help you to really get the environmental protection in terms of different categories. Like certain categories, A is a quick win, where you can get the quick energy savings can happen, and category B will be like your routine maintenance expense is not done, you can get it done through routine expenses. And category C will be like a medium level investment which you can do and get the solution fixed, like throttling of your pumps, or maybe HVAC chilled water line can be throttled. Similarly, maintenance related to the AHUs, or maybe cooling towers, or maybe your AHU filter choking. All those things can be really categorized in different so this can all lead to your environmental protection as well as your energy reduction, and as well as your cost benefits analysis. Okay, and finally, this is the roadmap normally goes. So normally we should see that, yes, we monitor the complete wages, mainly resource efficiency, then carbon emission scope 1 and 2 in terms of scope 3, basically your supply chain, and finally your waste management. So all those things can be really mitigated, and this will be typically a roadmap for energy digitalization and sustainability goals as we go into the digitization mode. Okay, finally, this leads to your emission reduction, carbon emission, carbon neutrality, net zero, or carbon positive, or science-based targets. So these are various initiatives normally people get it done. So yeah, so this, then finally the return of investment. Yes, now this kind of projects, always this question mark coming from the finance team. What is the benefit, or what is the return of investment? Yes, so there are two type of benefits normally get. One is tangible benefits, other is intangible benefits. So again, tangible benefits can be quantified to the finance in terms of annual energy cost, or maybe the maintenance time and cost. Yes, we can really go certain energy costs, we have gone up to 10%, and maintenance cost up to 50%. We have a lot of success stories in coming days. Intangible benefit, yes, we can see environmental point of view, how the secure compliance, cyber security, data security, business continuity, all these are comes as intangible benefits. So finally, yes, this is how we should present the business case to the our finance and meet the requirements. So we, during this kind of programs in the EcoStructure programs, we really understand what are the challenges, and accordingly we'll define the return of investment. And finally, typically the return of investment will have payback of less than 3 years. Approximately 2.5 to 2 years is the most of the cases we have our experience. So, but you can keep high level, less than 3 years will be very attractive for the finance point of view. So there are many use cases for the laboratories. Just quickly, I'll go through across. So this is one of the biggest case study we have in the Norway, where the customer needs in terms of compliance standards, as well as this is an institute, college institute for life science labs, where the environmental standards need to be maintained. At the same time, they want other benefits, awareness to the students, and energy reduction, all those things, plus safety also. So this is how the solution has been designed. So we give the various solutions from the standard point of view. You can see power tag, then automation controllers, then building operation, and finally building advisor platform. Okay, and other example is the Boston Scientific Corporation USA, where again customer would like to see maintain the standards, as well as they want to maintain the HVAC control and advisory services. At the same time, they want to reduce the downtime of the various cost reduction, as well as failures, or what you call downtime of your failures of various equipments, energy related faults they want to address. So these are the few benefits customer got finally, and huge savings of cost savings as well as energy savings they have achieved in less than 1 year period of time. Yeah, so this is my last slide. Yeah, so I'll close here. Back to Vijay. Any questions? I'm happy to answer. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sridhar. This was splendid. There's a whole lot of things that can be done in the laboratory and the facility as a whole. As Industry 4.0 becomes a reality, I think the latest technologies are definitely pushing the boundaries for safety, sustainability, and efficiency. For our viewers, if you have any questions, you can start typing them into the Q&A box, and I'll pick them and post it to Sridhar. You can start sending them now. So meantime, I have a few questions. Sridhar, if I can get started with those.
Okay.
So these came in offline as well. Are there, the first question is, are there any penalties for not meeting the sustainability goals?
No, at present it's a voluntary and it's an initiative coming from the various United Nations organization for the various corporates, and corporates are doing this at a voluntary basis for the various brand imaging as well as for the environmental protection. So no penalties, it's just a voluntary for the what you call as a part of sustainability initiatives.
Okay. So at the moment it is voluntary.
Voluntary,
It
yes.
will get into a mandatory situation. So
Yes.
given the climate consciousness around.
Yes. Yes.
The second question was around the cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is definitely one of our concerns. So, which would be a better option, a cloud or an on-premise solution?
Okay, so both on-site premises as well as cloud has its own what you call merits and demerits. So if you see on-site system nowadays, there are certain cyber security compliance standards called IEC. I remember 77430 something. I remember. So this is a standard which has been monitored by the IEC authorities, and they validate the various your product in terms of penetration test or your various standards in terms of testing they do, and they certify the level from 1 to 5. Okay, one is the lowest highly risk point of view, and the rating 5 is that most highly cyber secure and point of view. So most of the softwares presently available in the markets are at medium. So I'm not telling like it cannot be hacked or it cannot be done. So most of the cyber secure platforms are on-site platforms at cyber security between 3 and 4 levels, and definitely there are some still work need to be done by the various cyber security actions to reach the level 5. So yes, so on-site is always secure and available. And secondly, cloud also is a secure in terms of data center point of view, data in terms of data availability and the data transfer. So normally what happens, there is something called secure FTP transfer or HTTP transfer. It's a cyber security safe protocol. So the data can transfer in a one-way traffic basically, okay, through a firewall. And most of the organization or corporates agree to open the ports, basically ports like data transfer ports via SFTP as well as HTTPS ports. So yes, there are cyber security is safe nowadays, and there is no such risk happen because everything has been protected through firewall. But again, from the compliance point of view, we need to do a lot of penetration test and data security test, and there are certain procedures in the data center point. I'm not expert on that particular offering in terms of cyber security testing, but yes. So, but in the advantage, the cloud-based advantage is that yes, there is no need of maintaining your server PCs in the locally in the on-site, and you will get a lot of new features or software feature get enhanced automatically. So in case of on-site system, what happens is the software license-based software gets obsolete maybe after 3 years or maybe 5 years. You need to keep upgrading the software regular basis. So that's the one challenge. If in case of cyber, in case of cloud-based, so the enhancement happens automatically, and you need not invest on the capex investment. It will become opex. You need to pay only the maintenance charges for the cloud-based platform. So that's how it has its own advantages and what you call merits and demerits. Yeah, sorry.
All right. So both cloud and on-premise can be made equally secure.
Yes, exactly.
It's
Yes.
just the model that one wants to decide whether they
Yes.
want to retain complete
Yes.
control
Yeah.
or they want to rely on cloud
Yeah.
providers.
Ideally, any data logging system or monitoring system, normally the cloud is the most preferred for the most of the customers or most of the market now, unless you need a very compliance standards, or if you want to do on-site controls. Yes, the on-site system is preferred in terms of controlling and compliance standard. But if it's any data logging, yes, it has to be most secure is the data. Cloud is the most secure for data logging point of view.
Got it. So Mahadeva Prasad has a question.
Okay.
What are all the parameters that can be measured in power tag sensors?
Okay, in the power tags, you can get all the electrical parameters like active energy, reactive energy. You can get apparent power, then power factors, voltage, current. All standard features are available, as well as it has a class 1 accuracy meter, and it meets ISC standards. Yeah.
Okay.
And it works with the Zigbee communication protocol. That means wireless protocol. It doesn't have a display unit, and we need to have a what you call IP enabled or RS485 enabled data to get the data visualization in the software.
All right.
Yeah.
So the next question is from Krishna E. The question is, how do we need to plan a lab to have flexibility for, I think, changing space needs? So how do you plan a lab for flexibility and the changing space needs?
Okay.
I think
So
it's also in the context of all the environmental and the ambient parameters monitoring.
okay, so we have one solution called EcoStructure Workspace Management tool. Okay, which gives the historical data that how the space management is being used historically, maybe last 6 months or maybe 3 months or maybe 2 months. Okay, so and also we know that how the occupancy level is being utilized or what are the assets are there in the particular labs. So now when there is a need for a change in the or new space requirement for certain criteria for labs. So you may have certain standards like lux level or maybe lighting or maybe temperature settings or maybe humidity levels. So this system is going to give you telling that, okay, this labs will meet the requirement. This tool is going to tell that, yes, in the first floor or maybe second floor at certain location, yes, this space is available with is operated last 6 months or 3 months at so and so environmental condition or maybe available in terms of occupancy. So this can really become a handy tool to really have the space, what you call changing the space become a handy tool, because we have seen the historical data of this particular space, how this can be done and how it's been operated last 6 months in terms of various environmental conditions. Yeah.
Okay, great. Next one is from Rajendra K. What would be the percentage cost for BMS as a part of greenfield projects? That's part one of the question. And the second part is, how will it reduce the running cost?
Okay, so
What percentage of the greenfield project is for BMS? One needs to look at allocating. And second is, how will it reduce the running cost?
okay, I don't have the exact answer at this stage now. So because this greenfield involves a lot of complete infrastructure cost of the particular project. So maybe it should not be more than 4 to 5% as per my experience. Maybe, but I may be wrong also. So, but I don't have the answer at this stage.
But it's not a
Rajendra.
big
Yeah, yeah,
factor of
yeah,
the.
yeah, yeah.
It's not a big factor of the overall
Yeah,
cost.
yeah, exactly. Yes, it's very hardly maybe less than 4%. That's my understanding actually. And yes, reduce the operating running cost is very, very important. Yes, it can help you to reduce your running cost at least by 10 to 15% based on our experience, because your major load to operate and maintain the particular facility is your major is HVAC load and lighting loads. Okay, so definitely you need to have a operating cost can be optimized at least by 15%, because you need to maintain the complete HVAC system, and there is a lot of maintenance procedures are there which can really become handy tool. So you can take it to very high level in terms of percent. I can give at least 10 to 15% to reduce your running cost of the HVAC part or BMS.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So in terms of brownfield, do you have the data? What percentage of it would be the BMS cost?
Yeah, typically, yeah, for brownfield, I'm telling like 10 to 15%, definitely you'll be able to reduce your operating cost. If you don't
Okay,
have BMS, there'll be increase in at least 10 to 15% more. We can take it reverse way. Yes.
got it.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other questions? Once again, let me check. Yeah, I have one which again came in offline. So, in terms of choosing what to monitor, do we need to pick everything, or can we sort of start small and then eventually expand it into a full coverage?
Yeah. Okay. So normally what we do when you design the solution, we categorize in level 1, level 2, level 3. and we should know what is your high priority requirements for the, again, we need to see the your value proposition. Again, we'll come back there. So we need to see from the biosecure point of view, like what you call environmental point of view, very, very important. We should know what are the three things we need to have, like maybe first thing. So we need to define some KPIs. Yes, I need to ensure that my environmental KPIs like maybe temperature, maybe humidity level, or maybe air changes, or maybe pressure is very, very important. So this is critical. Second could be your level 2. That means good to have, not a must to have. Okay, that means I should have some automation controls like lighting controls, then HVAC controls. So that will come as a very, very important point, maybe level 2. And level 3 could be like good to have. That means without that also there's not so much impact, but it gives a lot of indirect intangible benefits, maybe your environmental point of view, or maybe your energy cost benefit point of view. So like that we can give categorize based on your critical needs. So again, depends on which is very critical for you. Is it your biosecurity safety is very important, or maybe your reliability? If you have frequent power failures and reliability issues, yes, that will be my first priority to address those issues. Similarly, if there is a sustainability goals initiatives coming from your senior management, yes, then I need to see how to make the L1 will be my sustainability key initiatives. Maybe carbon emission will be my key goal, or energy reduction will be my high priority as a part of focus. So it depends on the how you define the level 1, or the priority number 1, priority number 2, priority number 3. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Sridhar, I understand you have another engagement you need to get to. So we are already 2 minutes over the limit. So with this, we will close this webinar. So thank you so much for your inputs and your time today. For all who attended, again, a big thank you from us. And a copy of this presentation will be put up on our website. And once it is on the website, you will get to know in our social media channels. So do follow us, and you will know when we are publishing all this content online. So until then, we will definitely come back with more webinars. Till then, thank you very much for making the time to join us today. We will see you the next time, and happy festival season to whoever is celebrating Diwali in India and around the world. So have a great time. This is Perspectives, the Thought Lead Initiative by Kiwani. Thank you and bye-bye.